Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking an early look at the brand new Calm Day charge move for Togekiss, and that is Aura Sphere. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now, Aura Sphere is a fighting type charge move, 100 base damage, 55 energy. So if you compare it to the current move on Togekiss Flamethrower, it's the same energy, but actually has 10 more base damage, which is quite nice. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Aura Sphere Togekiss in action in the Ultra League. Hopping to the first match, leading Virizion into Shadow Dragonite. Now this Virizion is running Stone Edge, which means this is honestly a pretty nice matchup for the Virizion. Virizion farming up to the Stone Edge, baiting with the Sacred Sword, trying to grab a shield from the opponent, and the bait is successful. That is fantastic. The nice thing is, Virizion is not in Dragon Claw range here, so Virizion will be able to tank the move, make the Stone Edge, and either deal massive super effective damage or grab the final shield. Opponent is going to double shield the Dragonite. Dragonite met with Togekiss. We see a pivot into Lapras, and Lapras will be answered with Obstagoon. Obstagoon going for the cross chop here. Cross chop with no shields remaining for the opponent is going to land and deal super effective damage. The Lapras has farmed up a lot of energy here. Obstagoon still with 2 shields remaining, going to commit the shield as the Lapras only ends up going for the Surf. This is just another Surf, so Obstagoon can pretty comfortably tank this. Obstagoon looking for a potential farm down and gets it. Leaves with a ton of energy. Will lose CMP to the Dragonite, however. Dragonite is going to fire off the Dragon Claw. That's going to grab the final shield. And Obstagoon has so much energy here. Goon fires off the Night Slash. We see a switch into Togekiss. In the back is Empoleon. And this is the exact type of situation where having Aura Sphere can be useful. Hydro Cannon gets Togekiss low. Togekiss makes it to the Aura Sphere. This is super effective fighting damage, taking out Empoleon. And that is a good game. We see a tricky lead in the next match, Virizion into Tapu Fini. Now, if Virizion is running Leaf Blade, this is actually a pretty nice matchup, but unfortunately, Virizion is running Stone Edge, which means this lead is honestly quite a problematic one, as this Tapu Fini has very good play into not only the Virizion, but the Obstagoon in the back as well. This is easily enough for the Moonblast. We will see the shield deployed by the Virizion, and the opponent did not bait, so that is quite nice. Virizion going for the Stone Edge here. Stone Edge not going to be enough to KO. Opponent is going to let that through. Tapu Fini very low. Tapu Fini winning CMP over Virizion. Virizion gets KO'd by the Moonblast, and things are looking tough. In comes Obstagoon. Obstagoon gets an energy lead, but is down a shield versus whatever they have in the back, which is revealed to be a Charizard. Charizard will be outpaced here. Night Slash is going to deal some chip damage, but the opponent is going to let that through. Charizard up a shield. Odds are they are not going to bait, so we are going to see a shield from the Obstagoon on the Blast Burn. Charizard now approaching half health, so health is beginning to become a bit of an issue for the opponent. They're going to let that through. Obstagoon gets the boost. We see the switch into Togekiss. Togekiss will be hit with a Blast Burn from Charizard. In the back, they have their own Goon, but Goon is getting absolutely torn to shreds by Charm. And the bad news for the Obstagoon is that they cannot KO with the Night Slash here. That does not cut it. Togekiss gets the farm down, going for the Aura Sphere. Bad manners here. Aura Sphere will get the shield from the Charizard. In comes the Obstagoon. Obstagoon counters down and secures the win. We see a tough lead in the next match, now leading Obstagoon, but running into a familiar foe, the Tapu Fini. We see a pivot into Virizion. Virizion is going to be answered with Drapion, but the bad news is if the opponent is switching in a Drapion to a Virizion, then they probably have Sludge Bomb. If the opponent was running Aqua Tail Crunch, then this is actually a matchup that Virizion can do quite well in, but with Sludge Bomb, things definitely get uncomfortable. We're going to see Sacred Sword number 2 fired off by the Virizion, and we see another no shield from the Drapion. Firing off Sacred Sword number 3, looking to apply some pressure. That will grab a shield from the opponent, and this Drapion just has so much energy. Virizion lets it go. Sludge Bomb connects. It's going to be a race, and the Drapion hangs on with a sliver of HP. That is definitely not ideal. In comes the Obstagoon. Obstagoon, unfortunately, does get denied on the switch in there due to lag. Opponent is going to land the Sludge Bomb. It's all up to Togekiss. In comes the Togekiss. It's Berserker in the back, and this is very, very tough. Opponent, at the very least, their charge moves are resisted, but this definitely is an uphill battle. Foul Play will be no-shielded, farming up to the Aura Sphere, baiting with the Ancient Power, hoping to try and grab a boost. Ancient Power gets the shield, but we do not see a boost. Togekiss farming up. This Berserker has so much energy. The final shield is going to be used. Togekiss, can it make it to the Aura Sphere? No, it cannot. Berserker with a sliver of HP. Foul Play gets the KO, and that's gonna be game over. We see familiar leads in the next match, Virizion versus Shadow Dragonite. And as we mentioned before, since this Virizion is running Stone Edge, it has a lot of play versus the Dragonite. Farming up to the Stone Edge, and as before, baiting with the Sacred Sword. Is it going to work again? Yes, it is! Able to grab a shield, that's quite nice. Virizion can tank whatever they throw here. Should just be the Dragon Claw, and it is. Opponent is going to switch into, is that a Confusion Cresselia? And Cresselia is going to be met with the Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword, of course, not going to be doing a lot of damage, but now in comes Obstagoon, and Obstagoon does very well here. The nice thing is, these Confusions are being resisted due to the Dark typing, and Obstagoon can apply a lot of pressure in this matchup with the Night Slash. Cresselia is going to be firing off the Moonblast, that is going to connect, and thankfully we do not see an attack debuff. Firing off the Night Slash here. Night Slash is going to land onto the Cresselia. Obstagoon continuing to farm, throwing on very nice timing, and this Night Slash will be lethal. Opponent is going to let that through. Down goes Cresselia. Back in comes the Dragonite. Dragonite, very nice counting, able to win CMP over the Obstagoon. But bad news for this Dragonite, as it's stuck against the Togekiss. In the back is Registeel, and this could honestly get a bit interesting, as unfortunately, that Virizion is quite low. Opponent is going to commit the shield. Virizion makes another Sacred Sword. That is incredibly important damage here, as Sacred Sword deals some nice chip damage. Virizion will get farmed down, and now it's all up to 2-shield Togekiss. Togekiss has to make it to the Aura Sphere. Togekiss farming up, trying to make it to the Aura Sphere. Registeel able to outpace, and this will burn the final shield as they go for the Zap Cannon. That does get the attack debuff. They go for a catch onto Dragonite, but Dragonite not able to catch the energy. Dragonite goes for the superpower. Togekiss tanks, leaves with the Aura Sphere loaded and ready to go. Aura Sphere takes down the Registeel, and that is a good game. Moving into the next match, picking up a fairly neutral lead, Obstagoon into Pidgeot. Considering Virizion is in the back, definitely happy to catch the flyer on the lead. Obstagoon will outpace, but choosing to overfarm and let Pidgeot get to a move first. Pidgeot is going to fire off the Brave Bird. They save switch into Cobalion. Cobalion will immediately be met with a cross chop from the Obstagoon. And now, in comes Virizion, and we have a battle of the Swords of Justice. Cobalion is going to strike first, going for the Sacred Sword. That does absolutely nothing to Virizion. Virizion firing off a Sacred Sword of its own. This is going to be close. Sacred Sword barely does not KO Cobalion with 1 HP, able to hang on and make another Sacred Sword. The nice thing is Virizion does leave with energy, and we know that it has access to Stone Edge. Farming up, firing off the Stone Edge. Stone Edge is respected by the opponent, and Pidgeot with energy is honestly a bit scary in this endgame here, as this Obstagoon is very low HP. And now in comes Togekiss. Togekiss farming up energy, look to try and catch onto the Obstagoon. Unfortunately, the opponent did throw in the middle of the charm. Togekiss continuing to farm. This time we do see the successful catch, catching the Feather Dance onto the Obstagoon. Opponent stays in, and that's going to allow the Obstagoon to make it to a Night Slash. Night Slash is going to connect. Opponent sends in their final Pokemon, and it's Umbreon. So they are very weak in the back to Togekiss, and this is another situation where having the fighting type coverage on Aura Sphere is quite nice. Building up to the Aura Sphere, baiting with the Ancient Power, looking for the shield and a potential boost. Ancient Power gets the shield. Togekiss looking for the farm down. The nice thing is this is 3-turn versus 3-turn, so every time they go for a move, Togekiss does get the sneak. Umbreon going for foul plays in this matchup, and foul play is just not going to cut it. Togekiss farms down the Pidgeot, and now it is Aura Sphere time. Back in comes the Umbreon. Aura Sphere takes down the Umbreon and secures the win. We see a core breaker on the lead in the next match, Obstagoon versus Talonflame. Honestly, Talonflame does well against its entire team, so definitely not a fun Pokemon to see. Obstagoon goes for the Night Slash, could have thrown one more counter there. Night Slash gets the boost, and things are about to get fun. Obstagoon is going to call the bait. It is the Flame Charge, and that is big. Obstagoon now going for a boosted Night Slash. This applies a lot of pressure onto the opponent. Opponent is going to commit the shield, and we see the double boost. Oh my goodness. This Obstagoon now quad boosted in attack. Obstagoon farming up and going to fire off the Night Slash here. This Night Slash will easily KO. Opponent gives up the final shield and they get the farm down. And this is a bit uncomfortable as unfortunately there's only resisted moves to try and farm down. In comes Togekiss. Togekiss, ooh, did that charm KO. This is going to be close. Shields the Flame Charge. It did not. The Talonflame with 1 HP makes another Flame Charge, and Togekiss is nearly KO'd. In comes Swampert. Swampert will be met with Virizion. Virizion, unfortunately, not running Leaf Blade, so cannot one-shot here. Swampert goes for the Earthquake. In comes Registeel. They went for the Earthquake because they knew they just needed chip damage versus the Virizion. Virizion goes for the Sacred Sword, going for Sacred Sword number 2, but Registeel is going to be able to tank 2 of these moves. Registeel now getting low on HP, but able to withstand the damage, make it to the Focus Blast here. Focus Blast does get the Virizion low. Virizion over farming as much as it possibly can and firing off the Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword into the Registeel will KO. We see the switch into Togekiss, looking for Aura Sphere, cannot get there. Opponent is going to fire off the Hydro Cannon, not letting the Aura Sphere through. In comes Virizion, losing CMP to the Swampert, and that's game over. Picking up a neutral lead in the next match, Obstagoon into Alolan Muck. Considering there's the Virizion and the Togekiss in the back, definitely nice to catch the Poison type on the lead. Obstagoon gonna stay in this matchup and go straight for the Cross Chop. Cross Chop will get some valuable chip damage onto the Alolan Muck. Muck farming up a ton of energy here. This is going to be interesting. Are they Acid Spray? Are they Sludge Wave? It's a Sludge Wave, and that rocks the Obstagoon. Obstagoon firing off another Cross Chop here. This will get the Alolan Muck into the yellow health, which is quite nice. Muck is going to give up Switch and snipe with Virizion, but now Virizion is going to get charmed down by Togekiss. Togekiss, all they have to do is basically just shield the Stone Edge, and they're in a very nice spot here. The Alolan Muck is incredibly low, so you can just charm that down as well. This is just the Sacred Sword. You don't have to shield this. You can pretty comfortably let this through. We'll have to see what the opponent does have in the back. They're thinking about it. What do they have in the back? They have Dragon Breath Giratina, and it looks like the opponent just conceded the match. Ancient Power not gonna land, and that is a good game. Hopping to the final match, we see a terrible lead, Obstagoon into Virizion. We're going to see a save switch into the mirror, but the opponent is going to respond with a Pidgeot, and everything going wrong here in this final match. Baiting with the Sacred Sword, able to grab a shield from the opponent, but the opponent is wasting no time going for that Feather Dance debuff. Feather Dance not going to be enough to KO. Virizion will make the Stone Edge, but they're debuffed, so unfortunately, Pidgeot can very comfortably no-shield here. Pidgeot is going to let that through, and at this point, you fully wait your clock, you send in the Obstagoon to tank whatever moves Pidgeot can get to, and then just hope that with a shield advantage, Togekiss can sweep in the endgame. They go for the Feather Dance. Obstagoon farming up a lot of energy, going to be firing off the Night Slash here. This is going to be game over for the Pidgeot, and now it's all up to Togekiss. In comes Togekiss. It's an Aggron in the back. You've got to be kidding me. Now, if this was shields down for the opponent, this would actually be a fantastic time to have Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere would hit for double super effective damage and absolutely wreck the Aggron. But Aggron has a shield. They can just farm all the way down, and this is just going to be too little too late, unfortunately. As Obstagoon may be able to get rid of the Aggron, but there is just absolutely no way to get rid of the Virizion. Obstagoon, all the energy in the world. Back in comes the Virizion, but unfortunately, no gunk shot in this moment. Cross Chop not gonna cut it, going for the Night Slash just to stall the game out any longer, and that's a game over. And now some final thoughts on Aura Sphere and its relevance on Togekiss. I would say overall, it feels like a small upgrade over Flamethrower, but more than anything, I would say it probably feels more like a side grade. Like with Flamethrower or Aura Sphere, both of them can hit Steel types for super effective. Aura Sphere, of course, does get that 10 more base power, which is quite nice. But at the end of the day, it'll really come down to what you're looking for in terms of extra coverage. Flamethrower, of course, can do very well against the grasses and the bugs. Aura Sphere can definitely help if you're going up against a normal type like Snorlax, or if you need a finishing move against a dark type. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.